Hey, what is going on guys, this is Tharshey and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the anti-Witch King build for Galadriel in Lord of the Rings Rise to War. So if you guys do enjoy this video, then please do drop a like, comment and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn on those post notifications. Anyway, let's get straight into it. So a couple of days ago, you guys may have seen I released a video called the best Galadriel build in Lord of the Rings Rise to War. And if you guys want, you guys can check that out, but that's more a general build, okay? So that's for your Galadriel to perform well against, the biggest variety of enemies and enemy commanders. But today we're going to be giving you a build that is only meant for fighting Witch Kings. It also works pretty well against Saurons, but it's mainly against Witch Kings. So if you're going up against a Witch King with alchemists, well, this is the build you're going to want to use. So let's get straight into the video. Well, first things first, we're going to have to talk about a quick disclaimer, and that is, the build I'm giving you obviously assumes that you have your Galadriel at R5 and level 50, so you do have 55 skill points from that, plus the 2 you get from her strategist title, and we're not going to be including the 4 extra points you can get from imparting wisdom, though I will also include what you can put those points into if you do have them. So the first thing we're going to talk about is army composition. So what do you want to use against a Witch King? Well, for Galadriel, the best army I found is an army of eagles. And the reason for this is because, one, eagles have a 60% reduction in melee damage, or in damage taken from melee units, okay? They do take 30% more damage from ranged units, but against evil factions tend to mainly use melee units. And against Witch Kings, well, Witch Kings are always armed with like 5,000 or 4,000 something alchemists, which are melee units plus some trolls and something else. So most of the time it's going to be 3 melee units on a Witch King. If they do have 1 ranged unit, it's not really that important. It's only the 1 unit that is ranged, okay? Most of the time, Witch Kings are stacked with melee units. So having a full army of eagles on your Galadriel is going to allow you to take 60% less damage from those alchemists. So when those alchemists do their double attacks, your eagles are going to be taking 60% less damage due to their own skills. That is not including anything Galadriel herself will give them, okay? So that is very, very, very important, and it makes her very strong. So in terms of army for this video and for this build, the army you're going to want to use is a full stack of eagles, okay? I know that's a bit expensive because you have to recruit them with gold and stuff, but that is the army you're going to want to use, okay? Full army of eagles. Equipment wise, well, equipment is not going to change from my other video. You're just going to want to get equipment that boosts her focus. Though if you do have a piece of gear that gives you reduction against burn damage, you can add that, okay? Or even focus damage if you're fighting Saurons, but for Witch Kings, you're going to want equipment that gives you reduction against burn damage, but most important is going to be gear that gives you focus. Stuff like this worn-out smoking pipe, which gives you focus, this elven cloak, which gives you a decent amount of focus, and whatever else you have, okay? So all your gear must be focus-based gear. If you do have one that gives you an effect, reduce burn damage, that's fine, add it on. If not, that is also alright. Now, on to the most important part of the video, that is the skill builds. So, you have 55 skill points, okay? Because you get 50 points from her being level 50, you get 5 points from her being R5, and you get 2 extra skill points, for a total of 57 skill points from her strategist title. So, what do you want to do with these 57 skill points? Well, simple. 15 points are going to go straight into Mistress of Magic, 7 into Surge, and 7 into Focus Wrath. And this is going to be most of your damage, okay? This top R0 branch is where Galadriel gets all her damage from. So that's going to be 15 points gone into that, 7 into Surge, and 7 into Focus Wrath. Next, you're going to want to put 15 points into White Council. Follow that up with 7 points into High Alert and 7 points into Champion of the Light. Now, Champion of the Light is all allies damage to orcs, uruk-hai, and trolls is plus 4%. And while that is good because, once that's maxed out, it's plus like 28% damage, to orcs, uruk-hai, and trolls. And against a Witch King, it's very helpful because remember, most Witch Kings are still running like 4,000 or 5,000 alchemists. Alchemists are orc units, and they also tend to run some trolls as well. So this is a very, very helpful title to use. If the Witch King you're fighting, or if you're fighting maybe, I don't know, Rune for example, and they decide instead of running alchemists they're putting other stuff on their Witch Kings, so that you're not fighting any orcs, uruk-hai, and trolls, then you don't have to max out this title. But 99% of the time this title is still going to help. So, we have a look at the amount of skill points we spent. We spent 15 on Mistress of Magic, we spent 15 on White Council, that is 30 skill points. We spent 7, 14, 21, 28 skill points on for Surge, Focus Wrath, High Alert, and Champion of the Light. That is going to be 58 skill points in total, okay? And as I said, we only have 57, so you're gonna have to take out 1 point from Champion of the Light, but that's all right. You'll still have it at 6 out of 7. So you'll have 15 points into Mistress of Magic, 7 into Surge, 7 into Focus Wrath, 15 into White Council, 7 into High Alert, and the rest of your skill points will go into Champion of the Light, and you'll have that at 6 out of 7. Now, if you do have 4 extra skill points from Imparting Wisdom, like I do, then you're going to put that 1 extra one into Champion of the Light, because, you know, why not? Having that maxed out is great, and your extra 3 skill points will go straight into Nenia's Guardian, which increases your focus by 2% per level, so that'll give you 6% extra focus, and that's just pretty great to have. Or you can even put 2 into there and 1 into Ring of Water, or 2 into Nenia's Guardian and 1 into Magical Barrier. That is your prerogative. But most important is having the titles that I mentioned maxed out. Okay, the top R0 and her R3 skills plus all their sub skill trees, and that is going to make you extremely resilient against Witch Kings. Reason for this is, if we take a look at everything, right? So remember, your army is already taking 60% less damage from the alchemists, because, you know, eagles take 60% less damage from melee units. Okay, now they're taking 50% less burn damage because of High Alert. High Alert gives focus, burn, and poison damage received minus 50%. So you're taking 110% less damage already from the alchemists. And Champion of the Light obviously just gives you more damage, so that's cool. And White Council will give you, depending on how high your focus, around 400 focus will give you about minus 33 or 35% damage received. So you're going to be taking like 145% less damage from those alchemists when they first hit. So instead of them doing like 60,000 or 50,000 burn damage a hit in those first 2 rounds, you're only going to be taking like 1,000 damage or something on the first round. Second round you will take slightly more because White Council will no longer be in effect, but you will still take much less damage than you otherwise would. So let's do a quick recap of everything we've covered in this video so far. Number 1 is obviously your army. Your army is going to be a full army of eagles. The reason for this is because eagles take 60% less damage from melee units. Alchemists are melee units, and that is the main damage dealer in a Witch King build. Obviously, the Witch King will have 2 other units, but those also tend to be melee units, so eagles just serve you really well. In terms of gear, you're going to want all focus-based gear, stuff like the worn-out smoking pipe, the elven cloak, and whatever headpiece and weapon you have that gives good focus. If you do have a gear piece that gives you reduction in burn damage, that is fine, you can add that on as well, or you can add that on instead of something else, so long as it also gives you focus. In terms of skills, you're going to max out your top R0 tree and your R3 tree. So that's going to be 15 points into Mistress of Magic, 7 points into Surge, 7 points into Focused Wrath, 15 points into White Council, 7 points into High Alert, and 6 points into Champion of the Light, because that will be 15, 30, 7, 14, 21. That's 51 points already, and the last 6 in Champion of the Light will take you to the 57 skill points you have. If you do have 4 extra skill points from Imparting Wisdom, you max out Champion of the Light, and you put the last 3 skill points into Nenia's Guardian, or 2 into Nenia's Guardian and 1 into either Magical Barrier or Ring of Water, whichever one you want. I would say probably Ring of Water, because that gives you, lets your eagles recover a little bit of HP at least, so that's helpful. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and if you did, please do drop a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions at all in regard to this build, in regard to army composition or gear or the skills, or if you think there's something better that could be done, let me know in the comment section and I will get back to you. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video.